Hey guys, it's Suresh. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning into another video with me today. I have a very exciting Barbie review to share with you guys of this beautiful doll right here, who is the last silkstone of the BFMC collection. Thank you to Mattel for sending this beautiful doll to me. I was so disappointed when I was not able to get her. She like flew off the shelves, the proverbial shelves, so to speak, online. I did not anticipate that, to be honest with you. And then, of course, I saw that she was selling for like thousands of dollars on eBay and other third-party sellers, which was really disappointing. I was super sad that I didn't get to get her, and came home one day to this package and was so floored and so happy. Thank you again to the PR team at Mattel. I very much appreciate this. I'm so looking forward to getting her opened and seeing what she's all about. But before we go on with today's video, I do want to remind you guys that this video is for adult doll collectors only. I do not create content for children. This video is not for children. So please abide by those rules so that all of us here on YouTube can continue making fun content for all of us to enjoy. So this is a meaty, beautiful box. It is nice and thick, and there is definitely some heft to it as well. Here on the front, we see a beautiful sketch of GALA'S best Barbie in her gorgeous blue ball gown with Robert's best signature here and all of the Barbie insignia, along with the 20th anniversary here on the top left. And then we turn the box to the back and we see a gorgeous photo of dear Robert, along with a story of the doll and all of the manufacturer information here at the bottom. We see the Fashion Model Collection logo here on the bottom of the box, and then along with the top of the box as well. This doll is, of course, celebrating the end of the Fashion Model Collection series, which we are all devastated about, none more than me, I will tell you. She is dressed in the signature blue that Robert does for tribute dolls. I wish that she was on the traditional body and not the silkstone articulated body, but you know what? We're gonna just forget about that and move on with the reviews. We're gonna go ahead and open the box up just like so. Here is the inside. And I have gone ahead and de-ribboned her. When I got her for the first time, gosh, I wanna say like 2 months ago at this point. I was so freaking excited and was doing a whole bunch of Instagram stories and just had to take a look. I just had to, you guys, I had to. Yes. Oh. Here she is looking absolutely divine in her beautiful updo here. This kind of like mountain of formed curls is a little bit off-putting to me. Here is her beautiful petticoat. My goodness, we do definitely see many tiers of ruffles here. So let's go ahead and get Barbie out of her box here and take this inner carton out just like so. And she lifts up like all other silkstone dolls do. And then here is her tissue and the box and ribbon just like that. This is also a platinum level doll, so we see that reflected here in her beautiful certificate of authenticity. We see the number of her production along with the standard certificate that we see for collector dolls. I have 1,242 of 5,000. Oh, that's lovely. I just tore off half the certificate. And then underneath the certificate, we see special care instructions here. I think I've seen these with other silkstones before in this series, so that's sweet. And then here in the back, she is, of course, tied down with cream-colored silk ribbons, which we know and love to be our signature silkstone packaging. Let's go ahead and get this undone, shall we? So how are you guys feeling about BFMC coming to a close? I know that we have had this conversation many times before. I really did build my channel on silkstone dolls. So this is very sad to me. However, you know, there is a massive archive of silkstone dolls that Robert has been doing for 20 years now. So I think for those of us who love silkstones and perhaps have not explored all of them, this is a great opportunity for us to go back into the archives and see what we can track down, right? Yay! Wow. Hello, Barbie. How are you, my love? How are you? Here, by the way, is what the inside of the box looks like. We see her base and doll stand here on the left side. It's the standard weighted silkstone base. It doesn't say Barbie or anything on it, but it's kind of how it's been for the past number of years. Look at all this lacing detail. Okay, corset ribbon, yeah. goodness. There is her little hand tag, and then she actually has some stoppers here on her knees that are going to just kind of help keep her knees locked and in place. This is, of course, on the articulated silkstone body, which, if you've watched any of my previous articulated silkstone body doll videos, you know I'm not the biggest fan of. These knee guards are paper. They are not like Integrities where they're all plastic. Wow, look at all the layers, you guys. Oh my goodness. She does also have earring guards here, so I am very gently going to take those off. And then she also has these little clear straps that are standard for dolls that come with strapless silhouettes. I, of course, do not love those plastic straps, so I will be taking those off stat. Here is GALA'S Best Barbie up close and personal for you guys to get a better look at. She has lots of gown, let me tell you, lots and lots of gown. It could, of course, use a good press because she's been sitting in the box for a little while. And taffeta and organza and tulle like this are just not fabrics that do very well sitting in boxes. Her face is lovely indeed. Do you see what I meant about the hair? I can't remember the name of the doll, but there were a couple of dolls that came out a long time ago. I think Bill Greening did them, that have this very exact hairdo, I feel like. And they were like 70s retro-y dolls, but this also just kind of reminds me of something from like Whoville. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a little manufactured looking, though I understand the concept of the updo. The gown itself is really pretty. I feel like there are some slight fit issues with her little corset here, namely because she is not a very busty gal. And though I can definitely appreciate that from a fashion sensibility, I don't know, I feel like there's something that's not vibing here. So we'll have to kind of get a closer look at that. I do very much love these little bead and organza flowers. I think they are quite darling, and I kind of like the way they kind of trail down into the gown here. Yeah, and here again, we see Robert very strategically covering up the elbow joints. Here are her beautiful hose. There we go, just like that. And then the classic silkstone shoe. We've seen this before in lots and lots of other dolls. It's a beautiful ankle strapped stiletto pump there. Here she is from the back. There is a big long ribbon that ties her corset just like that, and it kind of trails down her gown. So that's really pretty. Why don't we go ahead and get her gown off of her so that we can see what the construction is truly like. Pretty. Oh, this is pretty, you guys. I'm actually really enjoying this. These are all of my like favorite fabrics, so how could I be upset? Oh, this is really pretty. Here is GALA'S Best Barbie in the buff so that you guys can get a better look at her adorable little posable silkstone body. Her face is absolute magic. As per always, we are seeing the gorgeous vintage face mold here, but painted in a more contemporary way. I adore the heft of her brows. Oh my God, so pretty. Love that glittery kind of beigey pinky eyeshadow kind of floating across her lid there. Beautiful cat eye. We see a little flush of pinky coral on her cheeks, and then a beautiful pinky coral lip color as well. Classic silkstone earrings in gold metal, lots of crystals to kind of form a beautiful star slash flower, and then a little faux pearl dropping from that. We've seen this before. We've seen many variations of these earrings before in other silkstone dolls, so I adore that. It's just her hairstyle that I have a wee bit of an issue with. I find it a little bit off-putting because it's giving me like Cindy Lou Who vibes. It's very, very hard. Like, it's very hard. But I feel like there is some beautiful hair underneath this do that is probably dying to come out. And while I understand the intent, I just am not sure that the execution was done accordingly, you know? However, I do love this color. Like, you guys know, if you've been following me for a while, that I have a thing for blondes. Blonde Barbie especially, so I do very much appreciate that. And then, yeah, scrolling down, here are her little gloves. I left one of them on so that you can see it on her. And there again, we see that it's cutting off right at the joints. So that's Robert's attempt to kind of hide the joints for us. Here are her pantyhose. They're in a similar shade of Dresden blue as her gown. Her shoes are also in the same color. We see the line going down the back of her leg there. That's a very classic Silkstone thing to see. And then we also see her sweet little pedicure right there. It's the same color as her little manicure here, which appears to be similar to her lip color. So love that. I left one of the shoes on so that you can see it on her foot. And it's a classic Silkstone shoe, more recent, I would say, but I've seen this before in many, many different colorways. It's that squishy kind of material that they make their shoes from. It's an ankle-strapped Dorsey pump that is quite chic, actually. I do love this. Again, it reminds me a lot of what we saw in Tribute Barbie 10 years ago, Tribute Silkstone Barbie. So yeah, there we have it. And then she does have the range of motion that we have now come to expect from the articulated Silkstone bodies. Here at the shoulder, here at the elbow, and then here at the wrist as well. Of course, her head moves around side to side and all the way around. She also moves underneath her bust right here. And then she does also move at her waist. What you have to do is kind of break the seal and get that moving if you want her to move there, but she does indeed move. I get many questions asking if this is a working joint, and it in fact is. And then scrolling down her legs here, we do see that her knees move just like that. And she has the original calves of the original Silkstone body, which I love. I've always loved that because they are a little bit fuller and more muscular. What I find odd is that it just doesn't seem to go with this little bitty body, you know? But all the same, there we are. And then here she is from the back. We see a little bit of hair traveling up the back of her head to kind of help form the hairdo. So yeah, very matchy-matchy. My inner Virgo matchy-matchy self is in heaven. Here is her beautiful, beautiful ball gown. I know that this might not be everyone's cup of tea. I know that people will wonder why there's boning showing. I know that people will wonder why it's all see-through. But let me tell you, this is fashion, honey. I have seen so many variations and iterations of this in recent years. I find it very contemporary along with being classic. It's a silhouette that has been around and adorned many, many, many stages all across the world. We've seen the great couturiers design gowns like this before. And yeah, the see-through boning, again, it's a very stylized approach. I actually love it. From the moment I first saw the doll, I was kind of like, oh, that's interesting. And I feel like Robert's been giving us very kind of contemporary variations of these silhouettes this year. So this does not surprise me at all. I like the seemingly asymmetrical hemline of this gown here. I feel like it flows a little bit longer in the back. It's a little bit shorter here in the front. We see 2 layers of this beautiful tulle fabric. And then underneath that, we see a beautiful layer of this organza, and then this taffeta trim here, which I just love. It reminds me of like a beautiful horsehair trim on ball gowns, which is a very 50s and 40s thing to see in couture. Love that. Look how beautifully that is sewn. So yeah, the craftsmanship on this is definitely very, very nice. They've kind of stepped it up for this, I feel. And if you are looking at this and it looks just kind of rumpled and blah to you, that is because it needs to be pressed. That really is what it is. These fabrics do not perform well or look good when they are not pressed and steamed. So this definitely needs a good press. I like very much the little bodice portion here, and I like that it's in that organza fabric. I find it so chic that it's sheer. My goodness, it's so beautiful, I think. Let's zoom in on these beautiful little florets. They are so cute. It's a mix of an organza flower, and then we see little iridescent sequins. We see little iridescent bugle beads, and then we see little faux pearl tips there. So yeah, how cool is that? So many different materials going in there. I am going to take off these plastic straps here when we're done with the review. I dislike them very much. and I do not think they need to be there at all. And here we see more of those florets, gorgissimo. And I will tell you, this tulle is very, very soft. I really, really am enjoying it. And it flows and flies so, so beautifully, as you can see there. Here is her beautiful Fashion Model Collection tag. I'm so sad that that's the last time we'll be seeing that on a doll. But all the same, you know, all good things come to an end, I suppose. And yes, I think this construction is beautiful. I'm very excited to give this a press. I love the sweetheart neckline of the silhouette here. I very much appreciate that there are no Velcro closures on this gown. We see 3 silver snaps here, and they're all tied down with blue thread. So yeah, the construction on it is lovely. I feel like this is such a big, hefty gown, and I'm very, very much enjoying it. Here is her sweet little petticoat that goes underneath her gown. This is constructed of one big layer of organza here. It's the same organza that her bustier is made of, so that's adorbs, along with the second layer of her gown. And then we see a huge row of taffeta ruffles here. It feels so, so lovely, so soft to the touch. It's one sheet of fabric that's folded in half, so we don't see any sort of seam detail here, which is great. It's a very even ruche all the way around, and then we see one connection point here at center back, so that's lovely. We see a yoke here at the waist, the same style that we did on the gown as well, and what that does is it just helps the bulk of these gathers start a little bit below the waist so that it doesn't kind of all bunch up around her waist. We see one silver snap here that opens and closes the piece, and the construction of this is also quite lovely. The little yoke portion here is in the same taffeta as these ruffles are in, and this also has a wee bit of an asymmetrical hemline there. And what I like about this is that in the front, the ruffles just kind of cascade down, and that reminds me a lot of the Tribute Barbie's gown, whose cascade of ruffles was similar to this, although they were much smaller. So yeah, I mean, I feel like mixing so many inspirations and trying to pull in the past and look to the future and pay homage to 20 years, that can be challenging. But I feel like this gown kind of encapsulates a lot of different elements that I feel like I'm picking up on from Robert. So I am definitely here for it. Here is her little bustier that goes over the gown. And I would say that this piece is the one that I feel is just a wee bit sad. She just looks sad. She looks like she doesn't really want to go anywhere. She just kind of wants to stay at home and just... With that being said, I feel very conflicted because I'm looking up close at it, and there is a lot of work that has gone into this. Like, there are lots of different panels here. There's a ton of different top stitch details. The bra cups even have a seam going through the center of them, which is a very, very like an old-fashioned couturier touch there. We saw Charles James using that in his gowns. We saw Charles Worth using that in his gowns. We saw Monsieur Dior using that in his gowns. So yeah, I don't know, like, I feel like I want to love this, but this peplum portion here, I don't know, it's like, it's just really bothering me. And I feel like it's the same taffeta that we've seen on other elements of the gown, but because of all the work, it's just kind of bunching up. And I think this area is really what's kind of bothering me. So what I might try to do is give this little girl a press to see if we can get her to shape up a little bit, right? Outside of that, I do love that we see more of those floret details kind of framing the waist of the corset here. It's very much like a true corset in that the construction and details on here very much look like a corset, but it doesn't look like a corset that you'd wear over a gown. It looks like a corset that you would wear like a traditional corset underneath the gown. So I think that is my only qualm with that. It is fully lined, which I appreciate, and I'm looking at all the craftsmanship and workmanship that's gone into this, and I can definitely appreciate it. Like, I say this often, but these things are not easy to make. They are labor intensive and time taking. So yeah, I definitely appreciate that. But even just looking at that, it looks like an old world undergarment, not something that would go on top of the gown. You know what I mean? The opening and closing mechanism is, again, very, very traditional to a corset style. It is all ribbon looped here, and then we work one long ribbon through it. So it's a traditional lacing system on both sides of the corset. So again, like, definitely loving all these details. I suppose I'm just trying to kind of come to grips with the fact that this is sitting on top of the gown. You know what I mean? All the same, I can definitely appreciate the craftsmanship and time that has gone into this. I would prefer that there were certain elements that were different. However, it's interesting and it makes for good conversation. So there we have it, guys. This is the Gala's Best Barbie doll from the BFMC collection. She is celebrating the end of the BFMC collection, very sadly, which happens to also be celebrating its 20th year this year. Kudos to Robert for giving us quite the showstopper as the finale doll of the collection. She is beautiful, I think. Obviously, there are some slight fit issues here and there, kind of on par with what we've been seeing more recently in the collector Barbie collections, I suppose. However, I do absolutely adore her. I'm really, really excited to give this big gown a press and kind of see it unfold in my doll cabinets. Thank you so much again to the Mattel PR team for sending her to me. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope that you learned something. Please be sure to give the video a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you hit that little bell icon after you subscribe. That way you guys will be notified every time I upload a new video. Follow me on Instagram. I'm at SureshNY. That's generally where I post all my updates. And until I see you guys again, Barbie and I are heading over to a private party at one of our dear friends' houses. We are all celebrating Barbie and the BFMC collection. We are going to shower her with love and let her know how much joy she has brought into our lives for the past 20 years, and that we're going to be very sad to see her go. Wherever you guys are in the world, I hope you're having a fantastic day. Big hugs and kisses from me and Barbie here in Seattle. Mwah! Happy holidays to you and to your family. Wherever you are, I'm sending you lots and lots of love. I'll see you guys again real soon for another video, okay? Bye.